Hey guys, welcome back to the Uncommodified Podcast. I'm Tim Windsor, and I'm joining you just before Christmas 2021. Another crazy year coming to an end for all of us. I've been doing a lot of thinking about the work that I do with leaders around the globe that I've had a chance to connect with over the years. And a lot of my time is spent with leaders thinking about how do they impact their employees and the people that work for them and they work with more effectively. And whether it's leaders in business or whether it's parents or community leaders or social leaders or political leaders that I've worked with, I just do a lot of thinking about this. And as I've been approaching Christmas, I've been thinking about this. What do our employees want from us for Christmas this year? And what do our teams want from us? What do our children want from us? Frankly, what does anybody who is working with a leader want from you this year? That's the question that we're going to get into today. And I really want you to think deeply about this as we do. After conducting hundreds of interviews with employees and teams on 5 continents, here are the 4 gifts that I constantly hear that your employees, if you have them, your team, your partners, your spouse, your children, and even your dog and cat maybe, want and need from you this Christmas and throughout the year. These gifts are 4 behaviors. They're 4 actions, attitudes that will maximize effectiveness and impact of leadership and management teams, of partners, of parents with their children, of community and social sector leaders, like I was saying, and any group of leaders and influencers who come together for the sake of leading others. Ultimately, to maximize effectiveness and impact, to build trust and to catalyze the attention and the desire to set and achieve our goals, leaders and influencers who come together to lead others must become the gift and give 4 gifts that are on everyone's Christmas list this year and every year from that matter. Because if you don't, there's going to be a lump of coal or a lump of something else equally as disappointing in everyone's stocking and under every tree again this year. There'll be division, there'll be confusion, and there'll be detrimental diminishment of effectiveness and impact with the people you are attempting to lead. Now, the 4 most beneficial and beautiful gifts that wise women and wise men must come bearing this year are these gifts: consistency, cohesiveness, coordination, and clarity. And these are the gifts that people want from those who have been given the gift of leading and influencing them. Let's unpack these 4 gifts. Let's talk about the first one, the beneficial and beautiful gift of consistency. The beneficial and beautiful gift of consistency. Now, this word is from the Latin root, meaning to stand firm or to take a standing position, to stop, to halt, to stand with or to stand together, to stand firm and make firm. There's a sense of standing together in agreement or agreeing with people. This is what this word means at its root when it was first created. Now, from a dictionary perspective, consistency is defined as something that's marked by harmony or regularity or steady continuity. That is a very powerful word, steady continuity. And this is something that the people that you lead and that I lead, whether, again, they're your children or whether it's people that you lead in the community or in your business, they are looking for a sense of harmony and steady continuity in their leaders, particularly as their leaders come together for a cause. Because when we don't have consistency as leaders, it is very hard for people to know where they're at. When they work with one leader and it's this way and another leader it's this way, and they're supposed to have the sense of consistency about how they operate. Again, we're not talking about homogeneity. We're not talking about being the same, but we're talking about a consistency that causes people to know what's coming. This word in the dictionary also means free from variation or contradiction. Now, of course, there's going to be variation in the human experience, but free from contradiction is really powerful. When we're consistent, we're not contradictory to one another. And that's really important because sometimes leaders, we contradict one another and then we confuse people. When there isn't consistency and there's contradiction, it does create confusion, and that's a problem. And so there's a sense where consistency, being consistent, and people knowing what to expect is a powerful gift. It really also means this word. It means showing steady conformity to character or to belief, being consistent in character and belief. And again, when leaders come together, for the sake of leading people, and there's a consistency and a conformity of character and belief, people know what to expect. When they're treated a certain way, when there's a consistency in which they're treated from a value set, it makes people less nervous. They know what's going on. They understand. And so this is the first beneficial and beautiful gift that you can give your people, that you can give your children, that you can give anybody that you lead, is consistency. So my challenge to you is, how do you create more consistency, not only in yourself, but in your leadership team or a group of leaders? And I think a lot of it comes down to communication and putting your hand and agreeing that there's going to be a subset of behaviors that you're all going to be accountable and responsible to deliver, a subset of values that you're going to operate under and that you're going to adhere to, and you're going to grab onto, and you're going to take a standing position, like this Latin word means, a standing position on a subset of values. So there's consistency in the way that people experience you as a leader and even a group of leaders. That's the first gift I'm going to challenge you to give the people that you work with, that you lead in your family, in your community, or in your business. That's the first one. The second of these 4 gifts that wise women and wise men come bearing this year is the beneficial and beautiful gift of cohesiveness. And again, this word is an interesting word because it also has a Latin root. And the Latin root of this word, cohesiveness, literally means to cleave or stick together, to be coherent or consistent. As again, there's a sense of consistency here. And to adhere to and to stick. There's a sense of sticking together, being connected together and sticking together and side by side. And I actually believe this is a very, very important gift that leaders need to give their team. When we're not cohesive, when we don't stick together as leaders, again, we have a problem, because when we fracture, other people fracture around us. Now listen, when you debate and you argue maybe with one another, and even as a husband and wife or as partners, maybe you get into your room and you have an argument and you figure it out and you work it out. At the end of the day, if you don't go out cohesive and connected to the people that you lead, you're going to create, again, confusion. So cohesiveness is a gift that we need to give our people. And this gift tucks into this idea of unity. There's a sense of unity in cohesiveness. And unity literally means the state of being one or oneness, being one or as one for the sake of others and the experience that they have with individual members of a group of leaders or influencers. It's this whole, or it's the totality of combining all the parts into one. This is what this word really means. And there's this sense of when there's unification, when there is cohesiveness, then there is power. When we can be as leaders cohesive and we can make our teams more cohesive and connected, there's a power that comes because we align our energies and we get synergistic return for our labor, for our expression. And so again, if you're wanting to give a gift to your team this year, if you're wanting to give a gift to the people you lead, give them the beautiful and beneficial gift of cohesiveness with the group of leaders that you lead with. Because when you're not cohesive, when you're fractured, people get confused. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to respond. And they don't know which way to go, because you actually create division. And that division is destructive to productivity at the end of the day. The third beautiful and beneficial gift that wise women and wise men come bearing this year, or should come bearing this year, is the gift of coordination. And again, this word comes from a Latin root, meaning to set in order or to arrange. It's 2 smaller words, co, with or together, and arrange, to arrange together, to order, to put those things in a row, to rank in a rank or a series or an arrangement. An action of setting in order. Coordination. And again, as leaders, so often we are not coordinated in our efforts. We're not coordinated in our sense of vision. We're not coordinated in our goal setting. We're not coordinated in what we're doing with our teams. And again, when we do that, we create this fracturing and we pull people apart instead of pulling them together. We push people apart instead of pulling them into the center of something so they can coordinate around their energies. And when you think about it, when your body is out of coordination, there's a problem when you have a problem with coordination. Recently, I developed some medical problems that they're still trying to figure out. And part of the symptom of that is every once in a while I get a dizzy spell. And when I get a dizzy spell, my hearing goes a bit strange, and I begin to sort of lose my equilibrium, and my coordination is off. The other day, this happened to me, and I had to take a knee because my coordination was affected. When you're not coordinated, you can't walk a straight line. You can't hold things together for the sake of other people. And a lack of coordination also means that you can't bring together the synergies of diverse working groups of different people. So again, this is a gift that we need to give our people, the coordination of leaders. Leaders that come together for a cause, for a sake, and again, it could be any place where leaders come together, but being coordinated around an effort, being coordinated around systems, being coordinated in our energies releases great things. So again, my challenge to you is, how do you give this gift? And I think part of the way we do it, again, is in robust communication. So much of all of these gifts are born, these gifts are born, frankly, in the workshop of communication. When leaders and groups of leaders come together and they communicate well and robustly, then they can give these gifts. If communication is not solid, coordination is impractical and difficult. So this is all born, it's born in this ethos of communication. And so give this gift of coordination to your people in 2022 as you look into that year and for Christmas 2021. And lastly, the beneficial and beautiful gift of brilliantly bright clarity. Of brilliant, bright clarity. Now again, from the Latin, this is a really interesting word. Claritas is the Latin word here. It's brightness, it's splendor, it's clearness. It figuratively, it means to make clear, the quality of being intelligently clear. What a powerful gift. The root of this word is born almost in a spiritual sense in brightness, radiance, glory, splendor. There's something so powerful. The quality of transparency or purity, of crystal clear communication, of clarity of vision, of clarity of purpose, of clarity of communication. The quality of transparency, of being transparent in our communication, where we're blowing off the fog of confusion and we're bringing this powerful clarity so people can see. They can see it, and they can actually see the radiant glory. That's what's really inside this word of fulfilling a mission or setting goals and doing it together. Again, as a leader, I want to challenge you. And again, whether it's with your children or whether it's in a community group or whether it's in your business, clarity is such a gift because so often we create confusion, not clarity. We're not clear with people, and we're not honest. We're not clear. We're not transparent. And when we're not clear, it creates this mud, this muck, this quicksand that we all get mired in, and then we can't move forward. There are many times I work with leaders when I talk to them about problems that they're having, and they are very sure that they have been clear. Yet when you talk to them, they say, well, the person did something I didn't ask them to, or they didn't listen and they didn't this. Well, it wasn't clear then, was it? And as much as it might be their responsibility to hear well, it is our responsibilities as leaders to deliver a crystal clear message. A message of clarity, a gift of clarity, the beneficial and beautiful gift of brilliant, bright clarity. And again, this is born in communication. Being clear in what you're saying, being clear in the words you choose, choosing words that have meaning to people, that connect to them, that speak their language. This brings clarity. Again, very simply, if you're talking to somebody who speaks French, my watch just went off, by the way. That's Siri. That's hilarious. I'll probably take this watch off. The reality is that if you bring clarity, then something happens. Something happens in the midst of it. So powerful this can be a gift. So again, are you clear in your language? If I spoke French and you spoke English and you learned some French and you spoke to me in French, you would be clearer. If I learned some English, I would be clearer to you. The gift of clarity. This is what people need. Like the Christmas star that shines off the top of your tree, or apparently the one that lit the way for the wise wanderers to find that birth of potential new hope in the beginning. This is the kind of clarity we need to bring, a clarity that brings new hope and understanding to the people that we work with and we work for and that we lead. This is what they want. 4 powerful gifts that wise women and wise men come bearing, that wise for the sake of other leaders will come bearing, must come bearing, so that their people can see in the dark and light the way into the future. Consistency, cohesiveness, coordination, and clarity. Put these 4 gifts in their Christmas basket instead of, or along with, if you need to, summer sausage and nuts and gift cards, and give much more beneficial and beautiful gifts than those. Gifts that will keep on giving and receiving and giving again each and every day this year. Now listen, I hope you have an excellent Christmas. Here's my challenge to you. Go out and uncommodify the world.